welcome Flavio Michel.
Is it live tonight?
It's gotta be every time you walk into the ring has to be a little bit of butterflies in the stomach.
Yeah, definitely there's some butterflies, but then also you know when you prepare yourself that every time you get in the ring, you know that you have to do a little bit better than the last time, so you're kind of excited as well. So it's nervousness, but it can also be a bit of excitement.
Please welcome Jessie Wilcox.
Michelle, we see Jessie Wilcox making his way to the ring, and one thing you gotta say is he comes from a fighting family. His whole family, all of his brothers are in the ring at any given time, and you know what, I gotta say something that his dad leads the whole family, and you know what I mean? It's one of those things that Jesse's become part of a tradition, if you will, in the Wilcox family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's Jessie, there's Steven, and they all put on very good fights. And I think the coolest part about both of them being professionals now and getting able to see them on a pretty regular basis is that they have two very distinctly different fighting styles.
Absolutely.
So it's
You're
always
right.
so it's always a treat to see both of them fight because you know you're going to get something completely different from either brother.
And their dad, Bob, who is in the corner of each one of the fighters. There's Bob right in the ring, right there on your right-hand side of the screen. And I got to tell you something. He understands that they're completely different fighters, and he understands that each one of them is it has a distinct, different style, like you said.
Yeah, and they have their own strengths as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pressler Law Firm, Phillips Moving and Storage, OLG Slots at Woodbine, and OLG Slots at Ajax proudly present our opening bout of the evening, 6 rounds in the welterweight division. Your judges for this contest, Mr. John Wiley, Mr. Jeremy Hayes, and Mr. Harry Davis. When the bell sounds, your referee is Mr. Donovan Boucher. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black and white. His professional record, 3 wins, including 2 by way of knockout, only 1 defeat. From Montreal, Quebec, he weighed in this morning at 145.8 pounds. The Gladiator, Flavio Michel. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing red and blue. He is undefeated as a professional. 3 wins, including 2 by way of knockout, no defeats. From the Steel City, Hamilton, Ontario, at 146 pounds, Jessie "The Rock" Wilcox.
Let's go. Fighters. Okay, gentlemen, I give a brief fight instruction in the changing room. All I want for you is to listen to my comment at all times. Protect yourself at all times. You got it? Red corner. Any question? Blue corner. You good? Touch gloves. Good luck.
You know, Sid, I got to talk to you about this right off the get-go. This is our first bout of the night, but I got to tell you something. We see Jessie Wilcox and Flavio Michel going together. Michel coming from Montreal, Quebec. Why do we not see more Canadians against Canadians?
You know what? This is one of the fights I was actually looking forward to when I was looking at the records on the paper. You know what? Promoters and managers just choose to fight fighters from other countries, but I mean, I love seeing the Canadian matchups. It's great for rivalry, and it's great
Absolutely.
No, for sure.
Jessie Wilcox, known in the early part of his career as weighing out that first round and a half, sort of, Michelle, of figuring out styles and then finally taking his target and disposing of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to finish is definitely something that we've grown to love about Jessie. He's got such heavy hands, and he's not afraid to use them.
Well, and that's a big key when you talk about it, Sid. Jessie does have, for a guy of his weight, he has very heavy hands.
Yeah, he does, and that's always going to play to his advantage. And I see him, he's being quite patient here, so that's nice to see from a young fighter, especially ones that pack a big punch. Yeah, it's nice to see him throwing some feints in there. He's not being too excited. He's trying to set some things up.
Who's coming off of his first loss as a professional, so, and it's pretty fresh as well, just happened in March. So how much is it that a fighter wants to come out here and prove, especially like you said, it's a nice Canadian rivalry we've got going, Montreal versus Toronto or Mississauga area. So what is that like for a fighter just getting off of his first loss?
Yeah, this first round's going to be very important for Michel to establish that he's back, like in his own mind, just to come back and have a good first round. Right now, it's back and forth. I'd like to see him do a little bit more to, establish that he's got some dominance in here, but we'll see. I mean, Jessie's not really allowing him to do that, is he?
How important is it to get back in the ring so quickly after your first loss, though?
It's good if you're ready. If he didn't suffer too much of a defeat in his last fight, then get right back in there. He's taking some pretty heavy shots right now, though.
He sure is. Jessie Wilcox throwing a couple of good combinations, backing up Michel into the corner. They move back to the middle of the ring. Michel comes over top, and nothing really comes out of it as it's separated. And the first round comes to a close, but I think Jessie Wilcox may have got the better in that first round.
I'd agree, Doug. I'd give that round to Jessie for sure.
I'm going to put both you guys right on the doorstep. I'm going to ask you guys to score this and every fight we see tonight. I want to hear what your thoughts are as we go through not just every round, but as we go through every fight. We take a look at round number 1 right here, and Jessie Wilcox very quickly is able to counterpunch.
Yeah, and he's counterpunching after he set it up with a feint. So that's really good to see. He's already got Michel kind of flinching and aware of his power. So that's going to set up some different things for him as we move along.
Here, Wilcox's corner, Michel, asking him to keep that jab going, and that's keeping the guy off of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's, the longer fighter with a longer reach. And, Sid mentioned the feints. Well, you do a lot of feinting as well off the jab, right? So that's a big key to his offense and then his countering as well.
Michel missing there with a nice big overhand. So he's getting a little desperate here. Just got to be careful. He doesn't get hit with the straight right hand.
in a fight with limited rounds like this, Sid, how do you coach a boxer to say, you know what, the first round we may see some, feeling out, but at a certain point, you've got to let it fly.
Yeah, at some point you got to make a decision to just pull the trigger and make it happen, but I like to do that behind the jab. Like, just keep working the jab. The jab will set lots of things up for you.
Michel got caught trying to come inside. They move back to the middle of the ring. Great job by Wilcox, throwing a good couple of combinations, starting out with the left hook. Comes in with the overhand right, just missing as he goes over top of Michel's head.
It also looks like he's trying to time that uppercut because he's seeing Michel kind of duck into it, so he's either...
Yeah, Wilcox really starting to put his punches together now. And Michel just throwing one at a time. And you watch Jessie, he'll throw 3 or 4.
That's a big difference between fighters being successful and unsuccessful, is being able to put those combinations together, isn't it, Sid?
Yep, and up and down, like you saw Jessie right there, hit him with an up and down combination. So it's going to keep Michel guessing.
Wilcox trying to come inside, and Michel ties him up. They move back to the center of the ring. Michel tries to dive inside, and Wilcox backs up and throws the overhand right.
Yeah, one of the reasons you see Michel trying to dive in there is because Wilcox is doing a really great job with distancing. Either he's hitting Michel or he's out of range. I like that.
Very quickly, Michel comes with the right hand, and like you said, Sid, it missed by a good 2-3 inches. And you know what? Nothing more frustrating, Michel, than seeing
throwing and missing. Yeah,
than throwing and missing. Think you've got your target in sight, and then it misses by a long shot too.
Well, and I think that's one thing that's pretty. You don't really realize that until you kind of step in the ring as well. Is the fact that a split second really does make that much of a difference. It's a matter of 2-3 inches, like you mentioned. The fact that, you see an opening, and if you don't throw it as soon as you see it, it's gone. It's gone. Right?
Round number 3 in championship boxing. Hi again, everybody. Doug Anderson, Sid Vanderpool, and Michel Storino bringing you all the action.
As the longer fighter as well, he's doing a really good job of, ringsmanship, right? And owning the ring and owning the space. And you mentioned, not only is he landing with punches and bunches, but he's also dictating where the fight is going, right? Yeah. So it's starting, if he wants to take Michel into a corner, he's taking him into a corner. If he wants to keep it in the center of the ring, he's keeping it in the center of the ring. So, it's interesting to know as well. You never really know how much that plays into a judge's mind when they're scoring about.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the exact same thing in terms of ring generalship. Wilcox showing really great ring generalship and control here.
Well, I was going to say, dictating the pace and dictating where the fight is going, does that play into a judge's card?
Yeah, it does, because it shows control in that ring. He can hit him when he wants to hit him. He moves him in the corner. He wants to move in the corner. He steps up when he wants to. He's the boss in there right now.
Absolutely. Missing with the big right hand. Flavio Michel from Montreal, Quebec. Wearing the black trunks. Trimmed with white and black stars.
Ooh. Nice counter right hand over the top there. So now, as a coach, one of the things I'd want to see from Wilcox is, after he makes Michel miss, make him pay with the counters.
Which also means it might mean stepping in right away as well, right?
Yeah.
So
a tight exchange from the two fighters. In the far corner, they come back to the center of the ring. Quick left hand coming from Michel. Wilcox sidesteps it. Moves Michel back to the ring. Along the ropes they come. Dodging with a couple of lefts. Again, Sid, you're looking for that uppercut. You can see him just waiting for it, waiting for that uppercut to become available to him.
Yeah, Wilcox is waiting. He might want to throw a few other punches to make Michel duck into it, but he knows it's there. He's just got to set it up just a little bit more.
Storino, you look at Michel over there, and he's got his hands held very low in this round.
Yeah, I don't know if that's more of a mental thing for himself, or he's just trying to,
A little more machismo? Is it?
It might be.
Is it a little more, hey, this is who I am?
Yeah, you're not hitting me. Maybe, he's just trying to get into Jesse's head at this point, even though Jesse has tagged him clearly.
Well, he's been shaking his right hand, and he hasn't thrown a right hand since. All he's doing is his left, so he might have hurt his right hand.
You think he got his right hand when he hit him on top of the head, when he caught him on the backside of the head?
Could have very well been.
You can still have that hand up to defend, though.
Why not? It's already hurt. You might as well use it for something.
Exactly.
Great job again by Wilcox, sidestepping that wild right coming from Michel. He gets out of the way and lands a couple of his own as we move on to round number 4. Sid, one of the things that I've always heard from every coach I've talked to, there's no excuse for bad defense.
Yeah, no excuse, and then, there's no comeback when you get hit on the chin and you're on the ground. So definitely defense, you have to make sure it's on point all the time.
But it's one of those things, Michel, that you look at and you kind of go, you know what? This is something that it just shouldn't happen.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Boxers,
there's offense. I can understand you can't hit your combination.
The
when
thing
you
is,
think about it.
Your defense is all about your eyes. You don't see the punches. You get hit by the punches you don't see coming, right?
Yeah.
So, you need to be focused on your opponent. See where all those punches are coming from, and be in kind of like the right headspace for that, right? Not be so defensive that you're flinching more or you're turtling, or right. That's when the big trouble happens, when you don't see everything coming at you.
But Sid, there's no excuse for not having your body posture properly and having your hands in the wrong proposition.
Yeah, one of the easiest ways to defend a punch is just to have your hands up.
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
Great combination coming from Wilcox. Throws the left and comes over with the big right. They move back to the center of the ring. Wilcox throws out that left to start things off.
Yeah, when you talk about Wilcox being a hard puncher, he's not winding up. This is just, he's got good leverage. Like he's been really well schooled.
Nice job by Wilcox to get that straight left jab straight through the gloves of Flavio Michel.
And now, he's at the point where in the 4th round, and he's utilized that jab throughout the first 3 rounds to keep him at bay, use feints, and now he's, starting his combos with a lead left hook instead of the jab. So, it's taken the 3 rounds to set him up that way, but it's now making Michel think that much more in there.
Are we at the point in this bout, Sid, that Flavio Michel needs to make something big happen?
Oh yeah, at this point right now, he's down 3 rounds. He needs to change the pace. It's the same thing over and over again. Nothing's going to change except the fact that he's going to receive more damage. So he needs to, do something.
Great job by Wilcox. Backs his man up to the ropes, takes a shot, but throws his hands up to protect himself from a combination. Good 1-2 coming from Wilcox.
Great jab there by Wilcox.
You hear the corner saying, jab, jab, move, Michel, and that's kind of what Wilcox has to do for the rest of the way. Nice straight left coming from Wilcox. Michel misses with the wild left. Again, going for it, missing again. Michel looking a little bit different in there, looking a little bit, I'd say, desperate.
Well, I'd say he was probably desperate the first couple rounds, too. I mean, he hasn't really put any significant combinations together all fight, really. It's been, the most I've seen, it's probably 3 in a row, really. And in terms of a cadence, they've been really slow. They haven't exactly been like, 3 quick or 1 slow, 2 fast. That's another big thing, too, that, if you want to kind of change the momentum of a fight, you change up the cadence of your punches, too.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that at least in the first couple of rounds he was desperate. Now he looks disheartened.
Yes.
And in the corner you gotta.
And that's exactly what, if you're Wilcox in his corner, that's exactly what you want. You want your opponent to kind of draw back into a defensive shell, which is technically what's happening right now.
Wilcox is broken as well.
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement that the first 4 rounds went to Jessie Wilcox, or is somebody out of here?
Get out of here, Doug.
Come on.
Get out of here.
Come on.
You're not allowed to be a judge.
You never answered the question, by the way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You just kind of, a typical lady, you sidestep the question. Good job by Wilcox. Following up that right with a quick straight left.
Yeah, Wilcox really switched up his combinations now. He started that combination with a straight right. Last round he was starting with a straight left and obviously using the jab as well. So Michel never knows what punch is going to come first.
You can hear Wilcox's corner saying, where's your fakes? And we talked a little bit in the previous rounds about fakes, and they don't just happen, with your hand. So he was doing it. He was doing it with his jab early on.
Look at Wilcox going at it right now along the ropes.
You could also feint with your feet. You could feint with your head. You could feint with your shoulder. There's multiple ways in which you could feint out your opponent and make them flinch, which is exactly what you want.
Is there a preferred way?
It's personal preference, I think, really.
Or does it go by who you're fighting?
I'd like to say it goes by who you're fighting. If you see a fighter looking at your eyes, you feint with your eyes. You look one place, hit another. If you notice that they're cueing off your jab hand or your hands, then you feint with your hands. You can kind of look at your opponent and see what cues they're going to bite on.
A lot of the time it figures out when a fighter's in the ring, figuring out what those cues are so they can take advantage of it. That's the 4th or 5th time we've seen those big lefts coming from Michel. And Flavio Michel's throwing those big wild lefts and not connecting. And you gotta wonder how much energy that's taking from him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Wilcox do a little more body work.
As a taller fighter, do you automatically put yourself in a weaker position by going to the body on someone who's shorter, like Michel?
Yeah, you definitely open yourself up for a potential, return to the head. But Wilcox has shown that he can get in and out. He's in control, so definitely some body shots would soften him up.
So we move on to round number 6, and Jessie Wilcox has this one well in hand. It's a matter now of Flavio Michel needing a knockdown or maybe even a knockout to come out on top.
Yeah, Michel definitely needs a knockout right now to win this fight. A knockdown, even 2 knockdowns, he still wouldn't get the decision. I'd like to see a little more animation maybe in the court of Michel over there. They got to pump their guy up. Oh, he's punched himself. That might help him.
Like he needs to take another shot. No, seriously, come on. You know, like you're not getting hit enough in the first 5 rounds. You need to hit yourself in the corner.
He's coming out, though. Here we go.
He knows that this is his time. He knows that this is the round he needs to make something happen. And Jessie Wilcox knows that that's how Michel is going to come out of his corner.
Yeah, Jesse's doing the right thing, keeping the range, keep him bouncing. He doesn't have to risk anything right now.
Again, that wild left going wrong for Flavio Michel. You know, he's thrown that punch a little more than a half dozen times, and he's been 6 inches to 8 inches away every time he's thrown that punch. Like, you got to pick your spots.
Yeah, he might do well to throw a different punch after that. You know, maybe a hook or something. He tries an uppercut there.
You know, you could tell Wilcox is a gamer, and he's okay getting dirty and getting in there as well. But you can kind of hear his corner as well saying, like, just box, just relax, you know, stay away from this danger, because really a desperate fighter is also a very dangerous fighter too.
Yeah, the last thing the Wilcox corner want to see right now is their fighter get hit or even get cut. Like, I mean, right now he could risk getting a headbutt and getting cut, and he's done so well up to this point. Why risk it? Beautiful jab there by Wilcox.
Absolutely, right on the money.
Doing what he should do, closing the show. Heads coming close together there.
Probably, Michel, that's the worst thing that could happen to Jessie Wilcox is a headbutt right now.
Exactly, Sid mentioned a cut, a knockout, what you don't want. The number one thing he has to do is keep his hands up, because you know that it's just going to be high looping punches that are going to actually have a chance at this point. And what he's been throwing all night, really, but now with a little bit more force and desperation.
Textbook 1-2 there by Wilcox.
Final seconds of the 6th round. Good combination from Wilcox to finish off the 6th round. Assuming we've all got it 60-56.
That's it. Across the board.
Storino, you're not opening your mouth, and that really bothers me.
I'm just having a little bit of fun, yeah.
You've got it 5-1, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, he won all 6 rounds. Once again, you know, dominant performance by Jessie. You know,
and it's more about activity than it is about, and you know what I mean?
He did so many things right in this fight. Now, this is the question I have to you, Sid. You know, you have a smaller fighter. You know, in your mind, he had to get on the inside of the taller, longer fighter. What should he have done in order to get on the inside, in order to be successful, instead of just resorting to looping punches on the outside?
Yeah, Flavio, he didn't have the footwork to get on the inside, and that's why you saw him lunging and trying. He tried, but every time he did, he missed by 8 inches, so he just didn't have the footwork to do it. So then he tried to lay back and counterpunch, and Wilcox was too fast for him. He really was just outclassed and outgunned.
Folks, if you've ever wondered, or you always thought that boxing is all about, upper body strength or arms or anything, it's the exact opposite. It's all about leg work.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds, we go to the scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored about 60-54 for the winner by unanimous decision, Jessie "The Rock" Wilcox.